caste in India no escape. After decades of positive discrimination, and despite huge demographic shifts, caste bias remains rife. After decades of positive discrimination, and despite and despite huge demographic shifts, caste bias remains rife. Ankit Pal and Tushar Singh have a few things in common. Ankit Pal and Tushar Singh have a few things in common. They are 19 and 18 years old respectively, and live within a couple of hours drive of Delhi, albeit in opposite directions. Both 19 and 18 years old respectively, and live within a couple hours drive of Delhi, albeit in the opposite directions. They both happen to be Dalits. From the bottom ranks of India's voluminous caste register. They both happen to be Dalits. From the bottom ranks of India's voluminous caste register. And they have both been in the news lately, though for very different reasons. And they both have been in the news lately, though for very different reasons. And they have also both been in the news lately, although for very different reasons. In mid-July, the smiling bespectacled Mr. Singh won brief fame by scoring a flawless 100 out of 100 in each of 5 subjects in school leaving exams. In mid-July, Mr. Singh, the smiling bespectacled Mr. Singh won brief fame by scoring a flawless 100 out of 100 in each of 5 subjects in school leaving exams. The best marks in the country. He wants to study history, he told interviewers, and enter the Indian Administrative Service, the top echelon of the bureaucracy. And he wants to study history, he told interviewers, and He wants to study history, he told interviewers, and enter the Indian Administrative Service, the top echelon of the bureaucracy. Mr. Pal, in contrast, appeared wearing a pink shirt and grey trousers in a viral video last year, in which 2 young men from the landowning Jat caste forced him to pull down his trousers and then beat him with a heavy stick. Mr. Pal, in contrast, appeared in a viral video Mr. Pell, in contrast, appeared wearing a pink shirt and grey trousers in a viral video. In which two young men from the landowning Judd caste forced him to pull down his trousers and beat him with a heavy stick. His tormentors were angry because Mr. Pal, having found a job in a factory, making smartphone screens, refused to work their land or look after their cows. As Dalits in the Jat-dominated village have done for generations. His tormentors were angry because Mr. Pell, having found a job in a factory making smartphone screens, refused to work their land or look after their cows, as Dalits in the Jat-dominated village have done for generations. 70 years ago, India's constitution, largely written by B.R. Ambedkar, a Dalit intellectual, declared all citizens equal before the law. It abolished untouchability, making the Hindu practice a punishable offense. And enjoined the state to improve the lot of the weaker sections of society. The weaker sections of society. Delhi's circumstances have indeed improved. The rigid ritual shunning of them has largely faded. Three generations of quotas in legislative bodies, in state schools, and in government service have created a lower caste 껐는데? 잠깐만요. Have created a lower caste bourgeoisie such that mid-ranked castes began lobbying for and eventually won their own reservations. Caste-based parties have sprung up to agitate for more government help and won power in many states.